like I said, my aunt, she normally comes around and helps out for a little while, but not for a long period of time.
Okay, and have you now being so that you mentioned burden, have you ever thought of Ryan like as a burden on your life?
And in the beginning, I had, like I said, I was like really stressed out and, having the daddy issues and stuff.
Hmm.
Yeah, it
And did
was,
you ever feel guilty as labeling him as a burden on your life? Because technically it isn't his fault.
yeah, it's not his fault. It's definitely not his fault. Like, so with that being said, that's why, when I thought about the adoption thing, I said, well, I wouldn't want, he already going to have problems growing up, and then he's going to have issues of like, did my mom give me away because I'm like this? So, I didn't want him to have too much on his plate.
Okay, so you didn't want him to feel as though, if he were put up adopted, you didn't want him to feel as though, because he was different, nobody wanted to love him.
Exactly.
Okay. And like as far as his disability, do you feel as though if you have another child, that child, will have, the same disability as Ryan?
No, because when me and the doctor, we had sat down and I had asked, if I was to have another child, where my child had the same kind of, and he said it doesn't really strike twice in the same generation for another sibling. So that's like he said he didn't out of 100. He said, but it would be really.
Okay, as Ryan grows up, would you encourage him to be like an advocate for children who suffer from cerebral palsy?
I mean, I would want him to if that's what he wanted to. If he wanted to be an advocate, then I'm all for it.
Okay, and as far as like living conditions, going back to I said, do you have any modifications? I mean, does Ryan does Ryan like share a room, or does he sleep in your room so that like if he begins to choke, because I know they have problems like swallowing, they have like functions with swallowing. Is
Yeah,
he in your room in case something happens?
yeah, he's still in my room because his older brother, he's being I don't want to want them to shit around. I mean, he tries to do so much work, so I can see him honestly picking him up or wrestling with him. So, Ryan's is one, but he's still like much. So yeah, I keep him close to me. He's
Okay.
over there at the park.
Okay. Actually, Miss Drummond, that was all I had, and that was all I had to ask you, and I really appreciate you for elaborating on Ryan's disability in your daily routines in life.
All right, thank you. I feel good to really talk to someone. Yeah, pass me the bag. Oh, yeah, pass me the bag.
Okay, and one last question. Now that you said it feels good to talk to someone, how often do you go to the support groups?
I didn't hear you. Can you repeat that question?
I said, going back to when you just said it feels good to talk to someone, how often do you go to those support groups?
That's the thing. I'm only able to get there once a month.
And how long is it for?
Um, 2 hours.
Okay, so you talk to someone about your feelings for 2 hours, with
Yeah, it's like a group thing. We all share different things.
is there a time when you feel as though, is there ever a time that you feel as though in the future that, you'll be okay with, Ryan's disability, that you won't have to go to support groups anymore?
Yeah, no, probably, but like I said, it really helps me out for as me learning different things, and just being around people that's kind of sort of going through what I'm going through. Like,
Okay. And just going off of like a wild card here, do you feel as though like if you ever get into another relationship, do you think that they'll accept Ryan, for who he is and like be a supportive figure in his life?
I mean, I will hope so.
Okay. And quick question. While he's in therapy, or when he goes to like a special school, do you fear that like he'll be like not treated right, like like abused physically because of his learning disability? Do you fear that there'll be teachers who don't have patience for him even though they work in this type of setting?
get him where a place where so they're trained to do is that he's a children with disabilities. So